What is up, everybody? It's me, Duke Farley, back at it again here on Lost at Sea. And tonight I am joined back at it again here with the Patrick. And we are talking about episode 6 of Survivor. Pat, glad to have you back. I know last week you had some things you had to do, but now we're talking about Survivor. What's up, man?
You know what, Duke? Thank you so much for having me back. You take a week off for load management, and you can't wait to get back on the court. Can't wait to get back in the game and just start doing what you do best. But you know what, Duke? You had a great episode with our brother Logan. I thought he brought some great flavor to the episode, a nice
Mhm.
little mix to the episode. So I thoroughly enjoyed it. But it's glad
Yeah,
to be
he
back.
he brought the funk, he brought the flavor, and now it's just the boys back at it
He
again.
definitely he definitely dropped that Dunta,
And he dropped it hard.
but hell of an episode, Duke.
Hell of an episode. Let's get into it. We see obviously at the end of the episode, Josh is eliminated. Sad to see him go. He was in one of my drafts. He is the second person of one of my drafts that gets eliminated, but nobody really follows the draft. So let's talk about Josh as a player. Um,
Um,
are you sad to see him go here?
no, I think he kind of set himself up to get eliminated.
Hmm.
He was on the chopping block probably from day one, and he kind of just set himself up. Lying about the idol, not lying about the idol. I mean, last week lying about the idol and then getting called out for it, hilarious,
Yeah.
weird. You can't show it in that situation. Then you merge, and then you tell some people you have it, some people you don't. And I guess in his mind, he did what he set out to do, was cause confusion. Maybe he has one, maybe he doesn't. But with numbers that big, you can split votes. It doesn't matter. It's like, you gotta, it doesn't matter if you say you have an idol or you don't, because half the tribe's gonna split anyway. It's like, I feel like that should have been in the back of his mind. I think also playing your shot in the dark in that instance is perfect. But I don't know if he did he yeah, he still had his shot in the dark.
Yeah.
So I don't know. That was he kind of set himself up to fail, in my opinion.
Yeah, I think he definitely did. I think lying about his occupation definitely from the get-go got him off on the wrong foot. And then he never really recovered in terms of just building those relationships with people.
Absolutely. And I don't know. I think he seemed very like defensive with people too. And
Yeah.
you know, I don't think he was a very strong social player, but I don't know. That's
And it seemed, and I mean, there was only 6 people eligible to be eliminated, right? So we have 3 names of the 6 being brought up, Yam Yam and Kane as well. And the reasoning behind their names being brought up, obviously, Yam Yam has that kind of rivalry, voted incorrectly or against Josh. So that was the natural kind of opposite name. But Kane, it seems like his name was brought up because just also people don't really trust him. I feel
yeah.
like Kane has that face that's like not trustworthy.
Yeah, I don't know. I guess I don't know a lot about Kane based off the edit, and you and me were kind of mentioning this. Like, I don't know who Kane is. The one
Yeah.
bit we got last week of him and uh
Your
what's his
favorite,
name?
Carson.
Carson nerding out. That was basically all I got from him. And so I was surprised when people were like, "Yeah, let's get Kane out," because I was like, I don't has he done anything? Is I guess people
No.
just don't trust him. So that was interesting. It was a bold move. I thought Carson had a great episode up until he completely like
He fumbled the bag on that.
Oh my God. That's how you get voted out. That's crazy. That's not, for somebody who's printing 3D, has 3D printed the puzzle a million times, you
You hate
think he'd be
that.
like, hey, I I can't stand that. I can't stand that. I think that is so stupid. And listen, hand up, Carson is balling out right now, and I'll hand him that. But that that does that not ruin it for everyone?
Was it kind of cool seeing the scene of the little miniature puzzle though?
No, no, it wasn't. It wasn't cool. It was not cool. That's not cool. Listen, I get being a Survivor fan. I get prepping yourself. Maybe working on a diet if you're good. Like, let me eat rice for the next 2 weeks, or let me learn how to make fire with Flynn, or
Or
let me look up
swim?
or swim. Let me learn how to swim. Let me do that. Not let me take the exact puzzles from CBS Survivor, 3D print them, go over and what the fuck are we
Well,
doing?
let me ask you this, Pat. Say you were cast on a show like Survivor or Big Brother, and you had the opportunity to 3D print a puzzle that could potentially get you around further to winning $1 million. Would you do it?
Yeah, I would. And you know what? I get it. I understand. Like, I'm not saying that that's not smart of Carson. I think that's a great move on his part. I just think as a viewer, I'm like, oh, well, great. If there's a fucking puzzle, has Carson already printed this out? That sucks. He's gonna win. Like he fucking he did that in 30 seconds. He did that puzzle in 30.
I've seen that puzzle played a lot. I've never seen it solved that fast. Obviously, because he
So
knows it.
let me talk directly to Jeff Probst here. Jeff, change the fucking puzzles. Change it up. God damn it, dude. If I could just 3D print all the goddamn puzzles, I'll just go do that. Fucking oh my God. I don't know. That just bothers me. It bothers me. It's like it's like if you were gonna go on the Great British Bake Off, right? You and the whole point of the show is you don't know how to bake, and then like 6 months before you go on the show, you go to the best culinary school in the world, and you just all you do all day is that is bake. You're gonna have such an advantage when you're not supposed to. I don't know. Seems kind of lame to me. But anyway,
And
Carson fumbled the bag.
he fumbles the bag. He tells Kane that his name is the counter name, not the name that's going to be voted majority, but is the name that if an idol's played will be eliminated. And Kane naturally is a little worried about
Not only a little bit, he gets up, it runs off the beach, goes directly to. Did you say my name? I heard my name. I can't be the one. It's like, okay. So it's a tough look for not only Carson but also Kane, because if we're all like, hey, it's Kane, and then Kane goes, hey, Carson told me that I'm the name, I'm gonna be like, okay, well, I'm not gonna tell Carson it. Like, dude, what are you what are you doing?
1 sec. Babe, is there any way that you could like go in the other room and blow your nose?
Had to get the bleach out.
Perfect. Yeah, sorry everybody, but babe is just people whoever.
Edit it out,
I'm not gonna edit anything.
bro.
No, come on, we
You know what? Once I get my mind.
we don't
set,
cut
I'm not
anything.
putting it in.
Sorry, she's just.
I lost one of the screws he held down. The air conditioner.
Babe, can we talk about this later?
But it was black mold. Like literal black mold.
Mask
I'm sorry,
indoors.
I'm sorry, everybody. Where were we? So
I think we're
yeah,
at black mold. Black
Yeah,
mold
black-
we were talking about.
we have to look into the aft post show. Um, but yeah, Kane going haywire was fun to kind of watch. He was like, he was asking everybody, "Are you okay to vote for Yam Yam?" And everybody's like, "Yeah, I'll do that. I'll do that." Person that I thought
Which
stood out. Go for
which
it, Pat.
worked,
Yeah.
which was crazy because everyone was like, yeah, let's vote Kane. And then Kane went up and was like, can you vote Yum Yum? And everyone was like, okay, yeah. I was like, oh, cool. So that we can just do that. I can just be like, don't vote for me. Like, oh, okay,
It's perfect.
yeah,
Textbook.
it was.
Um, a person that stood out to me this episode was Matt. I thought Matt had a great episode. Obviously, the flirt man's is still a thing, but
Yeah.
and he was safe. But I thought was it at the tribal council at least. I thought he gave a really funny kind of monologue on what it's like to do the first vote in the merge, but also I thought that he positioned himself well in terms of like just talking to people throughout that strategy portion.
Yeah.
I thought he was pretty well like talking to a lot of people, it seemed like.
Yeah, I think Matt set himself up. I completely agree with you. I think Matt set himself up really well. Him and Franny have been like
Yeah.
in a very good spot so far. Um, and I think he positioned himself well. I I think if he can continue to do that, he's gonna go far. Him and Franny, I think that might at some point. I'm surprised people haven't caught on to it yet.
Yeah.
Granted, because we get the full edit of everything, so I don't know what everybody else is seeing, but if they can keep their kind of like relationship on the DL and keep positioning themselves and being in those important conversations, they're going to go far.
Yeah, I feel like the next couple rounds we're probably going to see the people like Yam Yam, and then potentially people on the outside like Kane. Obviously, his name was just brought up,
Carolyn.
but maybe Carolyn. Those people get eliminated, and then I think the target will start to shift towards, the
Yeah,
Franny, the Matt, break them up, and then potentially the big dudes, Brandon and Danny. We'll
yeah.
probably see some flack.
See, if I'm Matt, if I'm Franny, and I see Kane's on the outside, Yam Yam's on the outside, Carolyn's on the outside for some reason. Because let me tell you this, dude, hand up, I am full team Carolyn. Full team Carolyn. She's won me over these last two episodes. I have followed that whole with who are the two dudes? She went on a last episode. She went on a reward with
Danny and Brandon.
Danny and Brandon. I was like, Carolyn, girl, I love you, dude. Just I feel so bad for her. I was like, you know what? She's the only one out of the three of them that's actually made a move. She's the best game player out of those three by far. And but I do like the villains. The villains are starting to pop up, and I think it's gonna be those two. But Carolyn has completely won me over. She tells everybody he doesn't have an idol. It's fake. I'm
Still,
like,
nobody believes
Carolyn,
her.
nobody listens to her. No one. And I get it. When she's talking about feces or whatever she talks about, it can be hard to listen to someone who talks about feces all the time. But
You've been there.
I've been there. I've been the feces guy. Carolyn, I love you. I'd listen to you. Nobody listened to her, and it frustrates me because she's the only one who's like kind of calling people out, and I love that about her. And I want now if I'm Franny and I see Carolyn's on the outside, I see Yam Yam, I see Kane, I would try to merge a little alliance there. And now Carson, because Carson's cool with uh uh Carson's like best friends with Kane, and he's probably in hot water because he went running his mouth. If you can get those guys, Matt, Matt, Franny,
Yep.
right?
Yep.
Matt, Franny, Carolyn, Kane, and Carson, and Yam Yam. That could be a nice little majority alliance you got there.
It seems to me like the people that are running the ship right now are Matt, Franny, and Carson. I would say
Yeah.
those are the people that are in the most strategic talks that are going on in the camp.
Yeah.
Probably the best connected. So I'm
Yes.
interested to see if those three end up working together, or if
Yeah.
when they realize about one another and start to take shots. I think it's probably going to take a couple of weeks before a big move is made.
Yeah. Yeah. And I agree. I think, but like, if I think right now is the time to lock in something. And you got a lot like Yam Yam. I get the idea of like, I don't want to work with Yam Yam because he feels like somebody who could just flop like that, or
Yeah.
he talks too much. But
Way too
when
much.
nobody has a leg to stand on, that's when people become the most loyal. And if you could utilize that, and because I don't want to partner with uh Danny, I don't want to partner with Brandon. Those guys are like, you know, these guys are going to cut me, would have no problem cutting me. And maybe that's just because I've seen more of them, like in their confessionals than, because I get their true intentions. But these guys are copies. Why would I keep them around? They're going to smash me in every single physical competition. Let's get out that right now. I don't know. That's just my opinion on it. But
Who do you want to leave next?
who would I want to leave next? I mean,
Selfishly.
Carson.
Yeah.
Just because it's like, dude, he's playing really well, and I don't want it. I'm trying not to be a hater, and he is playing really well, but the whole freaking, like, I've trained for this, you know, get out of here. I hope you
You
get
think
eliminated. I hope
you think
Carolyn,
he's kind of like a know-it-all.
a little bit of a know-it-all, but it just sucks because the whole idea of Survivor is like, these guys are strangers. These guys don't know, and I get the game's elevated and evolved, but come on. Like I like an underdog. I like an underdog. I want somebody who I don't expect to win. I don't like that people are not listening to Carolyn. That's why I want her to take out the top dog. And I think the top dog right now, kind of Carson, you know.
Yeah.
So, but I don't know. Who do you want to see leave?
I want to see
I think Brandon too.
I
Brandon
don't
Ryan's
really
like
I don't really necessarily I'm not really in love with any of the characters this season right now.
yeah,
Just because I don't see there's no like standout strategic person. I think my favorite character honestly right now is Franny because I feel like she's setting herself up so well, and like
yeah,
the way she's thinking of the game I feel like is actually pretty standoutish in terms of strategic and social. But I guess people that I would want to see leave are just like the kind of people that we don't know anything about. So like Lauren, Kane,
yeah,
I would want to see them leave.
yeah,
But yeah. I want to
yeah.
see
No,
I want to see a successful idol play and somebody get blindsided.
yes, I'd like to see that too. I'd like because I think this was exciting because it kind of was pitched to us like these are the three that are going. You don't know which one's going, and it's like okay, I honestly don't. I don't know where people's heads are at. They did a good job of showing that, and then Josh got the shit end of the stick. Which in those three, Josh makes the most sense to eliminate, 100%. So I like
And
this episode
why
because
do
I
you
didn't know
think Josh was the one that made the most sense to eliminate?
because number one he's physically stronger than both Kane and Yam Yam. Uh, the idea that he might have an idol is dangerous. He's clearly lying. He was clearly lying. Was called out for lying. That like a lying kind of physical threat. 100% makes sense to leave. Yam Yam talks a lot, but at least he's honest about it. He goes, "Yeah, I can't shut my mouth, but I also can't win anything." And Kane is like, "Hey, I don't know anybody. Nobody knows me. So why would you vote for me? I feel like I'm not that big in the limelight. This guy's clearly lying to everyone here. That makes the most sense."
So yeah, I agree. Actually, as you explained that, I think I agree. Josh did have the most kind of going on for him in terms of had potentially an advantage. Obviously, can win a challenge on his own in this individual portion. I want to talk about the other two a little bit. Just we see in this final three kind of format that there's always that person that gets to the end and has no votes, kind of is just kind of like dragged there. Do you think
Yeah.
Yam Yam fits that criteria of he's gonna like flip flop and kind of not have much agency, but he'll be a number?
I think, yeah, I don't think. I think if Yam Yam were going to be in that position, I mean, the only leg he could stand on is my social game, but his social game isn't great. Like, it's not. I don't think he even gets to the final three. I think the person who fits that criteria is, what is her name? She couldn't get
Jamie.
up the wall.
Jamie.
Jamie,
That's a good
100%.
call. That's a good call, yeah.
I think Jamie is that person in the final three who goes,
Because she's
well,
also the one that's carrying a fake idol right now that she'll probably try to play as a big move and it will
which,
fall flat.
because I think she sees herself as, and I think you could pick this up in the confessions, she sees herself as way more involved. That she's the one at the tribal being like, who do you think is the biggest threat? Like automatically going into strategy, which you respect, but it's also like you can't get up a wall. It's that doesn't define who you are. If you, I probably couldn't get up that wall, so I get it. But I
Short king.
think Jamie, short king for life. But I think Jamie's that person who thinks she's like in a lot of the most important conversations, but she's not the one calling the shots. She's just like, she's the person in the final three who goes, I aligned myself with this person to use them as a shield. That argument never works. It never will work. I think that she fits more of that criteria than Jim. I would be surprised if he got to the final three, but
yeah, it's a good call, Pat. It's a good call. I'm trying to think, is there anything else that we haven't covered that we should talk about in this episode?
Well, let me ask you this, Duke. Right now, who do you think is in the best position? Who do you think is in the worst position?
Best position, I have to go with. Let me think about that. Best position. I really do like Franny's position, and I also do like. I like Franny's position the most. I think she's in the best position to make it far and win. Because I think if that duo gets targeted, I think they'll go after that. And in the worst position, I think Kane. I think Kane probably will get voted out next, just because I think Yam Yam, he's just so fun, and I feel like he's more magnetic to work with, whereas Kane just gives me kind of sketchy vibes. And I feel like
Yeah.
if Yam Yam has another 2 or 3 days with people will want to bring him in, and he could probably communicate better.
That's a good point. I think somebody's got to coach him.
Yeah, somebody has to take Yam Yam under their wing.
Yeah, I agree.
But this is the jury. I think Josh was the last pre-juror, and now we're looking at the jury. Exciting.
Crazy. This game's moving fast.
It's moving fast, but Pat, it's been a pleasure getting to talk to you about all the different episodes and what's been going on.
Absolutely, brother. Well, thank you for having me.